All right, so today we are going to continue to talk about point of view. Within texts, we're trying to think about different perspectives of how a story is told and how people view or characters would view the same situation or same event in different ways through different eyes or different viewpoints or different lenses. And so that's what we're going to look at this week. So once again, remember, point of view is how a person thinks or feels about something. And as we've talked about, knowing a narrator's point of view, the speaker's point of view, and how it influences their descriptions and how they describe things, that will help us understand stories better and poems better. And so that's what we're going to continue to focus. Nearpod, at the beginning of this lesson. If you haven't done the Nearpod, you might want to do that first, but this is a link to it, but there's also a link at the beginning. So Nearpod time, hopefully you were able to watch that and look through that. And if you haven't, please make sure you do that right after this. Thinking about perspective, this is how the narrator perceives, how they view um, a situation. And so you think about what's happening in the story that can be impacted by whoever is telling the story and their viewpoint, of course. First person here, when you think about this, this is the person telling the story. And so who is telling the story? Is it the character narrator? Is it told from their perspective? What words does the narrator use to tell their story? And so, as I said, first person is the narrator is telling the story through their viewpoint, their feelings, their thoughts, and those words, hopefully by now you know, is you see the pronouns I did this, we did this, me, um, all of us. That is told by first person point of view. Third person is the narrator or character in the story is being described by whoever's telling the story, the narrator. So he did this, she did this, they did this. Those are all third person pronouns. And so we're going to take a look at this story from two different perspectives, fish in a bowl. And so here we're going to first look at this short story, this text, to go with this book. And it says, Fish in a Bowl. In a home in a city, there was a single fish in a small bowl. The family had won the fish as a prize at the city fair. For 3 days the fish swam around and around. Skippy looks lonely, the son in the family said. All he does is swim around all day. Can we get him a toy? The next day the family purchased a figurine to put in the bowl to keep Skippy company. However, Skippy stayed far away from it. Maybe we need to improve his environment, the mother stated one day after dinner. Let's buy some plants to brighten Skippy's home up a bit. While they were putting the plants in, they noticed some slime build up on the side of the bowl. The dad said that he knew just the fix. The next day, a snail was added to the bowl. Now Skippy will definitely be happy. He just needed some real company, the daughter announced after the snail was placed in the bowl. Over the next few days, a crab, a sunken pirate ship, and 4 more fish were added to the bowl. While looking at the fish bowl one day, the family realized that the bowl was just way too small and was getting quite crowded and filthy. I guess it's time to invest in a real tank, the dad and mom said at the same time. So let's stop there and think about the perspective here, the family, as they're seeing what's going on in the with the fish and trying to see from their viewpoint what they are noticing about the fishbowl. And now what I want to do is have us go through this story from a different perspective, the
Memoirs of a
perspective of the
Goldfish
fish.
by Devon Skillion and illustrated by Tim Bowers. Day 1. I swam around my bowl. Day 2. I swam around my bowl twice. Day 3. I swam around my bowl. I thought about taking a nap, but fish don't sleep, so I swam around my bowl. Day 4. I got some company today. I don't like the looks of him one bit. He doesn't say anything. He just bubbles. Day 5. Mr. Bubbles still hasn't said a word. He just looks at me. I said hello today, and he said, "Grrrr." He's creepy. Day 6. Today, my bowl looks like a garden. There are a bunch of plants in here now. I guess I'll have to water them. Great. Day 7. Mr. Bubbles and I now have company. He's a snail. He says his name is Mervyn, and he likes to eat the slime off the inside of the bowl. He's disgusting. Day 8. Things are getting very crowded. While watering the plants, I met a crab named Fred. I offered him my fin, and he nearly cut it off. Even Mr. Bubbles is afraid of him. Fred says I should stay on my side of the bowl. "Look," I said, "the whole bowl is my side of the bowl." He snapped his claw, and Mervyn fainted. I gotta get out of here. Day 9. That does it. My bowl now contains a sunken pirate ship, 2 guppies named Rhoda and Clark, and an angelfish named Cha-Cha who says she's from Hollywood. I can't turn around without bumping into something. At least Mervyn's happy. There's more gunk on the side of the bowl every day. Day 10. This is ridiculous. I was trying to find room for a swim today when Rhoda and Clark told me they're going to have babies soon. Like there's room for that. Fred knocked Mr. Bubbles over, and he became tangled in the plants. Cha-Cha said she couldn't help with Mr. Bubbles, but needed me to apply her sunscreen. The sides of the bowl are covered in slime, and Mervyn says he's too full to eat anymore. Yuck. Day 11. I'm a nervous wreck. Trying to avoid Fred, I turned around quickly this morning and came face to face with my reflection in a mirror. I nearly jumped out of my gills. I don't even look like myself anymore. I need to relax. Day 12. I've had it. Rhoda and Clark were racing around the bowl. Fred was fighting with Mr. Bubbles. Mervyn kept belching, and Cha-Cha told me I was standing in her light. I just lost it. "This is my bowl," I screamed. "I want my bowl back." Day 13. Today, I got my wish. Sort of, with a whoosh and a splash and a clank and a plunge. I was suddenly in a very tiny bowl of clear, pure water. It was small, but it was all mine. It was heavenly. I swam around my new bowl twice. But I started to wonder, what had happened to everyone? When I last saw Mr. Bubbles, he was tangled in green. Who would help him? Poor Mervyn was probably sick as a dogfish. He needs me. Cha-Cha will get a sunburn without me around. What about Rhoda and Clark? Did Rhoda have her baby guppies? There are probably 1,000 of them. They need me to make guppy bottles and change guppy diapers. Even Fred needs me. I'm the only one who can really talk to the crabby guy. Have they even noticed I'm gone? Does anyone miss me? I started to cry, and that's not easy for a fish to do. Day 14. After a long, sad night, There was a whoosh and a splash and a clank and a plunge, and I was suddenly sprayed in the face by Bubbles. Mr. Bubbles gurgled a happy tune. Rhoda and Clark raced by me like two speedboats, followed by 12 of the cutest baby guppies you've ever seen. Mervyn waved his tail at me from the nice, clean glass of our enormous tank. Cha-Cha sat happily beneath an umbrella. I think even Fred missed me. We were all back together, and I looked around and realized I was part of a big family. I guess I must have smiled because Clark said, "You look happy." I wanted to see for myself. "Where's the mirror?" I asked. "What mirror?" asked Clark. "We don't have a mirror," said Fred. "No mirror? No wonder I didn't look like myself. It wasn't me I was seeing." Her name is Gracie, and she's the color of a fresh tangerine. She's a Pisces, just like me, and today we're going to swim around the tank together. Twice.
So as we think about this, there really are two perspectives we have here. The first-hand account, the fish actually being in the bowl and what that fish sees and experiences. And then you have second-hand account from the family's perspective, what they see outside of the bowl, when they observe and what they're looking at. And so as the story is occurring, think about how the fish views all the things that are happening. Think about how the family is viewing what are they doing right now, and is it a good or bad thing in their mind? So let's think about it. From the first-hand account, actually being there and being inside the bowl, the fish, originally the bowl was a lonely place, but stuff was added and it really became far too crowded. The fish became more and more upset and crowded, and really that bad mood got worse and worse because really the fishbowl that belonged to this fish was overrun by all these other things. And so from both perspectives, these new items were added to the bowl. But from the perspective of the family, from the outside looking in, they thought that they were adding things to make the fish happier. They thought the fish was lonely and wanted more things. And so they just kept adding to the bowl more and more things in an attempt to make the fish happier and just to be good parents, to be good, a family that supplies the fish with everything they needed. And so from their perspective, they were making things great, but really they were crowding the bowl. And for the fish, this became a negative thing. In the end, what happened was the fish didn't even understand that these things did bring him joy. He realized that there was relationships made and attachments and everything, but that whole experience was much different than what the family saw. And luckily, they were able to realize, okay, we need a bigger fish bowl. We need um, more area for all these fish and all these things in the bowl. And so what I want you to do is continue to think about the different perspectives as we read this week, different stories. If you have not yet completed the Number the Stars test, some people were having issues with not being able to log in. It was related to how the computer was set up and if it was attached to your Google email address or not. So either way, I've adjusted the settings. So if you did not finish that on Friday, that has to get done today. I'm going to begin scheduling conferences. I'll let you know what that schedule is going to look like. Get your 30 minutes of reading in class and for homework, and record things in your reading step log. All right, you guys are awesome. Keep working hard. Have an awesome day.